Hello and welcome. Today we're making a chaplet bracelet with satin rattail cord, so it'll look like this when it's done. One advantage to using the satin rattail cord, besides that it's easy to get at a regular craft store instead of having to special order it, you don't have to burn this one off. You can just cut it. So depending on the group you're working with, that may be an advantage. One thing to be careful with though, because it is so slippery, you really want to make sure that those knots are tied tight so they don't come undone. So that's one thing to just be careful about. So what you'll need is between 4 and 5 feet of the cord. In this case I'm using 4 feet. It'll just depend on how much space you want between your knots and also how much excess you want to work with when you're tying it. I'd recommend, giving yourself extra when you're just starting because that way you'll have more than you need and you won't end up at the end not having enough. But just, work with it, find out how much length you want. Of course, you'll need scissors, you'll need nail polish or glue, and using a tool. You may have one that has a deeper barrel than this, which is helpful, but otherwise you could use one just like this one. So you'll start out, you'll make a loop, and this will be where your cross can go through at the end so it could be worn as a bracelet. So you're making this loop here. So your loop is going to go down by where your thumb is on the tool. You'll have this other long end coming up. And you'll take the very end of your cord, and this you're going to want to put up into your chute. If you have a deeper barrel, you could thread this through later, but with the barrel I have, it won't fit through if I do it later. So I'm just going to put it up there now. So I put this up here through the chute. I have this loop down here on the bottom, and this end that is connected to my loop. Okay, so this pink you'll see is coming up from the loop. This other end is from the other side of the cord. It's not from the loop. So the end from the loop is what I'm wrapping down 3 times. Okay, and then I'm going to pull this end that I had sticking up through the chute. I'm going to pull that through until I pulled, it mostly through, and then I'm going to pull it off of the tool so that then I can tighten down this knot. So I'm going to try and make it so that I don't have an end that I have to cut off, but worst case, if you have a little bit sticking out here, that's not really a big deal. You can just cut it off later, and then just use some nail polish or glue on that end. You could be pretty generous with it just to try and make sure that that doesn't come back out again, and you'll again want to make sure that knot is nice and tight so it won't slide off. This is your first Hail Mary, so you'll make 9 more, so that one counts as one of your beads. And each time you make one, your loop is going to go down on your thumb end. You'll take the other end of the cord, you'll put it up into that chute, and then again the end that's coming from the loop side, that's the one that you're going to wrap down the tool 3 times, and then you pull through that end that you would put through the chute. You pull it off, tighten it down just like you did before, and then just position it where you would like it, however much space you would like between your knots. You'll position that, make sure it's nice and tight, and then keep doing your knots until you have 10 Hail Marys all together. So I'm going to switch over to one that already has the 10 Hail Marys. Okay, and then the next bead you're doing is your Our Father. So it's good to leave a little more space before the Our Father bead just to show that it's a different bead. It's not another Hail Mary. And then you're going to wrap it down. So you're making it exactly the same way, but you're going to wrap it down 4 times instead of 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Pull that through. Tighten it down. Okay, so 4 rep bead. Then on the other side, you're starting to then make your cross. So the top of the cross is a 3 wrap, just like a Hail Mary. So you do that the same way as you've done all of the Hail Marys. Wrap it down 3 times, pull through. Try and have your, spacing good, of course, between your beads, so it'll be pretty even on both sides of the Our Father. And then your next one is a 6 wrap for the base of your cross. So you just wrap it 6 times. 5, 6. And when you pull it off to tighten it down, you want to make sure that your space in between your 6 and your 3 is really small. So you have enough room to tie a crossbar, but you don't have a whole lot of space. So that space is just really pretty tiny there. It's just enough room to tie some cord. Then you're going to cut off this end. And again, you want to make sure that that's nice and tight so that it doesn't come undone. Cut that off. You can nail polish it to also make sure it stays together. Okay. Alright, and then you're going to do your crossbar. So you take that end that you just cut off. Okay, so you have one of those ends down by your thumb. The other end will go up through the chute, same way as you've done your others. You wrap down 3 times like you're making a Hail Mary, and then you tighten that down and pull it off. And this one, you'll try and have it close to the end so you don't have to cut it off, but if you have to cut it off, that's fine. So you have your Hail Mary here. Nail polish that, or glue that, whatever you'd rather do. Okay, then you tie that on. So this is one side of your crossbar, and this is just a basic, a basic knot, like if you were tying your shoe. This is not anything fancy, just something to tie it on. Okay, so you've tied that on, and then you're gonna hold your cross and do your other 3 wrap on the other side. So you have that end coming up, same as before. You wrap down 3 times. And see, this is where you might want to have more excess because it just makes it a little easier to do this. Okay, then you have that, you tighten it down. Alright, so then you have your 3 wrap on either side, and then you can cut this one off. Okay, and nail polish that. Okay, and there it is. So then you can put your cross right through that loop, and this could be worn as a bracelet. So there we go. And God bless you, and happy rosary making.